This is a real struggle for me. I'm on the struggle bus today. It's true. So I was super excited. I was like, I figured out Facebook. I'm going to do this video. Blah, 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 blah. Does it work? No, it does not. We're having the autism trio back tonight. Oh, God. Now he's found me. I've missed my 8 minutes of freedom.
Uh-oh. Hi, Mommy.
Hi. Kate Swenson of Finding Cooper's Voice, Cariello of Cariello, and we have been doing Wednesday videos, which are super fun. And tonight we're doing. Okay, look, there it is. Good. Oh, okay, good.
Hey.
Oh, look at there.
And how are you?
I'm good. I was like feeling so proud
I was
of.
hopeful.
I was too. I was like, I have figured out Facebook. Carrie and Kate are going to be like, Adrian is so smart.
I'm going to come closer. I can't see myself hardly at all. I might need my glasses for a second just to check me out. Ugh, never mind.
Aren't you? You look so tan. Where have you been?
Oh, I have been out and about cruising with tails. Don't I have good color?
Yes, good color.
Oh, feels good here in the depths of winter. Did you get back fine? I take it. Blushy got through.
Yes, we got back fine. We have we're a little tired here.
I bet. How's your mom? I want people to know what a delight your mother is. Like just a really special person.
She is. I'm so glad y'all got a chance to like really talk. She the dog feels like it's an important thing to do, to suck up water while I'm on a video.
Thirsty.
It's like it's a rule. Yes, my mother really is absolutely delightful. I totally will agree with you. She is amazing.
She has a very gentle energy about her, and she just adores you. And it was really neat to see that relationship. And so for people uninitiated to the inner mechanisms of the cruising with tails, there was sort of, you had a core group of people with you that you grew up with.
Yes.
And you brought your daughter and your mom, and Mary Scott brought her daughter and her mom.
Right.
And it was really fun to witness sort of like these bonds that, I'm not particularly close with my mother, so I don't have that in view very often.
Right. Well, and you said that, and it makes me, which I think I do try to be very cognizant, but like, wow, like what a gift it is. We all have time and we don't know them, right? Until somebody points it out.
Yeah. Oh, here's Kate. Yeah, because you were saying you don't like your mother to mother you too much, like to ask over and over, "Hey, friend." And I said, "Well,
I forgot what you guys look like.
Here we are. How are you?
Don't we look tan?
You guys look refreshed and happy.
Well, I don't know. I got thrust back into the teenage world really fast.
Who's calling me right now? Kind of so annoying.
Probably usually my mom.
Your two only friends are here, so I don't know who could be calling.
Who is it? Is somebody calling to tell me I won the? I don't know if we are happy. I don't know if refreshed is the right word.
I was vacationing.
This was not a vacation. This was a
not
trip.
For you. For me, it was a vacation. It was not a vacation.
It was a vacation for you. Okay.
It was
a fun trip.
Well, Kate, she has limitless energy. They went long into the night. I couldn't even believe it. I was all snuggled up in my bed and I'm like, well, let me just check Facebook. And Adrian's like traipsing through the halls with her people, and they were nonstop.
I saw a lot of it. Yep. I saw it in action in real time.
You were on the virtual cruise.
Yeah.
It felt like maybe there was some alcohol being consumed. I'm not sure. Was it a dry cruise?
Was for me.
But it's funny. So I did gain 7 pounds of pina coladas. I've decided that's what it was today. I was like, oh my God, how did I weigh 161? Damn it. But I didn't drink that much. If you drink 2 drinks over a whole day, it's just, I think you get tired and you get punchy. And then when you're with a lot of people, it just makes it was fun, like it was fun and funny.
Well, Adrian basically encouraged me to upgrade everything. So I upgraded to the drink package, which was a complete waste. I don't care.
Yeah.
And she made me upgrade to the dining package, which was phenomenal. But one guy was explaining to me to make those drink packages worthwhile, you have to drink like 8 drinks a day.
Challenge accepted.
Well, I'd be dead, but
Yeah. So my Sheila was like, of course you'll make it. I mean, and you get Starbucks drinks. So I had 2 of those. And then because I'm me, I would buy drinks for other people that didn't have the drink package. So I got at least another 4 or 5 that way. So, I mean, I got my money's worth.
you did. I did not. And I don't care. It doesn't matter to me at all. It was just eye-opening the way some people really like dissect the mechanisms of cruising. It's a whole science.
Where were your
Challenge accepted. Okay.
where did you guys stop? Any places?
Yeah, the first day it was at Coco Keys or Coco Cays, which is what Royal Caribbean owns, this island, and it's like a water park, and there's cabanas and a beach area. And then somebody got sick, so we had to go back to Miami and drop this man off
Really?
Tuesday
Yep.
morning. That was very
Right.
dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sped to the Bahamas, and we spent the 3rd day at the Bahamas, which I didn't get off the boat then. I'd been to Nassau, and it's really kind of nice when the boat empties out because it's not crowded. And so that's what I kind of did.
The boat at all the whole day?
No, I didn't leave the boat the whole day.
Oh, we did. We went down to the dupe section of town, which is where all the fake pocketbooks are.
Oh, right. Because so your daughter wanted a fake pocketbook.
Yes, she did. A Marc Jacobs tote.
What's a pocketbook? A purse?
A purse.
Purse.
Oh, that's so funny.
Or I've never heard that. A pocketbook to me is like a grandpa has a pocketbook and like puts it like in this.
Oh.
You
Yeah.
also don't know what a proper toboggan is.
What is that?
A wooden sled?
It is
Yeah.
a toboggan.
No, I have never heard that. I have never heard that.
Kate, let me tell you, these South Carolinians, they speak a whole different dialect. I can't even tell you.
I'm from North Carolina.
I came home last night and did nothing but like relay stories in a South Carolina accent.
Okay, you guys, I just entered into the Google. Is a TOBA, and you know what the first thing that came up? Is a toboggan a hat?
Yes, because they're all like shocked that you didn't know that.
I never heard that.
Toboggan is a hat to Southerners.
Can I turn my phone? Oh, look, I can turn it.
Toboggan is a winter hat and its origin in the south of the USA. It is not just any other hat. It has to be a knit hat.
Why would Southerner even need a hat? I have no idea.
It gets cold. I mean, it's like, gets chilly here.
Kate, they have no idea.
Guess the temperature here today in Minnesota.
20.
It's 6.
Oh, I was so close.
Okay. Think back to when you had little kids. I have little kids that still cry when I leave, like they're at the door, like crying. So I left just a little bit ago to bring Sawyer to baseball, and I forgot my coat. And it was like I was running around, and I went back to the door, and I heard like screaming on the other side, and I'm like, screw it,
Not worth it.
back without a coat. Jamie would have lost it if I would have came in. He would have been like, get out of here.
How do you play baseball in the winter? Is it inside?
Inside, yep.
Oh.
Sawyer just told me this, like, I didn't know he was pulling my leg. He's such a little SHI shyster. So he was like, yeah, we're walking out, and he's like, Mom, I had something in my eye, and I was going like this. And the coach like bent down and said, are you okay, buddy? Do you have problems at home? And I told him, and I'm like, you are lying. And he played it out for like a minute, and he's like, just kidding.
Oh my God.
That's why you're starting counseling on Monday.
You are not right.
I know. I was like, remember your dad. Talk about your dad.
You have problems.
He's so my middle son did that last year. He's like, the coach wanted to know why you never go to any games and if my family's local.
Oh, little shyster.
I know.
But have you ever I had a principal years ago, one of my children got all in a tizzy crying over, I don't know, testing or something. And she said,
am I frozen?
Oh,
No, am I?
no.
I'll pretend to be frozen.
And she said, is Kate frozen?
I think she is. Or she is ignoring. There she goes.
Oh, she's coming back.
I don't know what happened.
You're
Okay,
back.
well, tell your
But
story.
she said, she asked me, is, he seems really upset. Is something happening at home? Well, that question immediately makes you feel like you're a liar, right? It's like when your debit card doesn't work and you feel like they're thinking you're totally broke and that's why it's not working.
Yes. And you feel the need to say, like, I have money in there.
I just used this. I mean, I had it. I mean,
I have money.
I'm checking. And then you're
Everything's fine at
sweating.
home. I mean, he's good. We're good at home. Yeah, you get very defensive.
What have you heard?
Nothing's wrong with him. We're fine.
Wrong? And then you pinch him. What are you doing? Are you crazy?
So we actually had something kind of scary happen once. It's very similar to this. And we were like wrestling around. Like our family, we wrestle. We have 3 boys. Like we wrestle.
Right.
We in the evenings, like especially in the winter, like Cooper loves it. He gets like so animated and like it's just rough play, right? So Sawyer had like a bruise, but the bruise wasn't from anything. It was from like a sport or something. And like they were like probing, like asking questions. And he's like, well, I wrestle with my dad. And I was like, no, Sawyer, like you can't say these things. I just was like waiting for a phone call, like, Mr. and Mrs. Swenson, could you come in?
But a friend of mine works for like a CPS, the agency, and she's like, honestly, the things we see, you can't even imagine. Like that's
Right.
They see the worst of the worst, but it is scary. I know.
Look at all these bizarre comments. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to go away.
How do I read them? Maybe
I'm trying to block the user, NurXDC. Well, there's also, I don't know if with your kids, but with Amos, like, he'll do this thing where he like will lay down and I can't get him to move in public kind of thing. And sometimes I get a hold of his ear. Now I don't pull his ear or pinch it or do anything neat to the ear, but I just hold the ear. So as long as you do what I want you to do, your ear does not hurt. But if you try to lay down, it will hurt. And people act like that's really evil. But I mean, you're in a street.
Yeah, you got to get them moving. Oh, I remember that with toddlers for sure. Oh, now James is on. James is saying he's infringing our privacy.
I know. Does James have nothing else to do tonight, or is James like a Nigerian bot?
I don't know. I can barely see his comment at all.
I'm blocking you, James. You're gone.
Bye, James. Oh, we lost Kate. Did you block Kate too?
No, where'd Kate go?
I don't know. She's done. Peace out to Kate.
Hey, you're going to just have to come back. I did not get rid of you. You left
All right,
me.
I'm trying to move to this middle part. I hope people recognize me, but it doesn't look so good tonight.
It's a struggle. It looks like a struggle.
It is a struggle. My daughter told me it looked nice, but that I can't trust that. She's 15. I can't trust that that's real information.
So I have 2 things. I know we don't have a ton of time, but I have 2 things I want to talk about. Okay. 2 things, because I get to pick. It's my turn. One thing is autism related, and one thing is autism related. But the one thing is when you leave your children, I have a lot of people that are like, and I know we all leave different, but they're like, have you talked to Amos? What's happening? And I've tried to explain, like, and maybe I sound a little guilty, but like, it's almost like Kate walking out the door. Like, we don't do well to do a lot of chatting while I'm gone.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to talk to him, but he does. It's different from a typical kid. Have y'all had that experience? Kate, have you?
So Cooper he has no time for FaceTiming or no time for phone calls. It just doesn't click for him at all. And so no, that's a really hard part for me too. So the other kids will like, climb into the phone and like, I miss you, Mom, and Cooper just completely avoids. But the one cute thing Cooper does do is he waits for me. He waits by the window.
Oh.
And then it just gets progressively more. Right. But what you're saying is it would upset Amos more.
Yeah.
Not even upset him. It just doesn't add anything. And like, I used to prepare him when I was going to go away for work or go away. And now I don't tell him at all. It causes so much anxiety.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. And see, we're past that, but that was our exact life too. Yep. Same.
Okay. It just seems weird to me. It like goes against everything I learned as an educator, talking, prepping. And it's like, no.
Oh, no. There's
What do you think?
instances we haven't prepped Jack. When we got not trip related, but we got a dog and I did not prep him because I knew he would go out of his mind and he wound up loving the dog. So I don't always think you have to front load. Like only we can make that call. Now, Jack he's working to stay afloat very hard where he is. And so we were in a lot of contact and I did have to handle some phone calls and that kind of thing. So, normally I would get a handful of texts from him through the day and there was definitely more. But we didn't talk on the phone until I got back today. So, but I'm not in constant contact with my other kids. And sometimes I feel like maybe that's weird. I know parents that text all their kids constantly. We just do the family group chat, but Joe and I wind up talking. We talked probably twice a day when I was gone.
Right.
You and Jack did?
And Joe and I, husband.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe.
Oh, but I did learn that when I got back last night, we're sitting on the couch and Joe's like, so I have to tell you something. And I'm like, oh my God. My oldest is in Philadelphia. The owner of a gym where he goes was screaming at him. So somebody else brought out their firearm to end the discussion. So that happened.
I froze again.
I'm literally still
You're not frozen.
You're not frozen. You're not frozen. I'm like, I can't, like, I start to think about it and then I just have to come back to where I am. Like, I can't even believe somebody was waving a gun around where my oldest son was.
She must be freezing herself.
There she is. Yeah.
If I got any close to the router, it would be up my butt. I don't know what's going on.
Don't do that.
It's StreamYard. I cannot stand StreamYard.
StreamYard's not good for me. I like Be Live.
I know. I'll switch, but I was so hopeful that I was going to be able to do this whole Facebook bring up to 3 guests on. I was like tickled to pieces.
So I did Jillian. It worked. Jillian is my friend Jillian, and it worked. But I feel like it's so hit or miss.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So anyway, all that went down when I was gone. I'm glad Joe didn't share it with me. He had everything.
Yeah, that was probably good.
Yes.
So did he quit the job? Does your son work at the gym?
No, he just goes there. He's a big power lifter and he's prepping for the CrossFit games. But yeah, he's found another place to go. So
yeah.
We're done there.
The other topic is what's happened in Memphis with this young dad, right? 29. We're all like reeling, I know, thinking about it. And I talked about it on my big page today. And I said, I don't have a black son, but I do have a son with a disability.
Yeah.
And we know that people with disabilities, much less people that are of color with disabilities, of that kind of fear and concern. And, I was saying, when something like this happens, does that make y'all think about that too?
Well, so George Floyd was murdered here.
Oh, that's right. Right. Where you live.
This has been a big topic in our home because that changed our life. I mean, and you were obviously very adjacent, but I mean, it changed our life. We had tanks coming down our streets. We had one of the police officers went to the high school nearest to us. I mean, it just changed everything in the way everything happened. So we've been really invested in this story because I just don't get how it can happen again. I don't know how. But Adrian, there's a story I'm going to send you. I've shared it on my page numerous times, and it's a Black mother who has a son like Cooper, who's in his 30s. I'm going to make that up, but 20s or 30s.
Right.
And she has signs all over her yard that says, "Don't shoot him. Don't." And he's disabled. He's autistic, and it's a real story. There were so many cops were called, and it was just so dangerous. And it's like, I think it is a totally different story if you're a child of color.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No one can deny that. I mean, I don't think we can. It has to be terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I only know the angle. Like, I do have a young adult son who gets deregulated and has already interfaced to some degree with incidences he had an incident report because he was deregulated at the college where he goes. He recently had another incident report because he mumbled a very vulgar joke in earshot of people. And the stakes, I wrote about it, big kids, bigger problems. The stakes get very high because my mind immediately flashes forward to him doing that in a public setting and officially, authorities getting involved and him continually, I'm not backing what he said as right, but when you don't have the full picture of Jack, it's easy to quickly like react. And I was just saying on my subscriber page, you know, this is really hard for me because a kid from his program was asked to leave today. And I'm like heartbroken for that family because I know firsthand how much it took to get everybody where they are. And I'm just reeling that some family now has this kid home and has to find, and I don't know who it is and I don't know what the circumstances were, but I'm devastated for him. So I know that doesn't quite answer your question, but yeah, the race angle is, I can't imagine when you have a vulnerable child and then on top of that, you layer race.
Right. 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 Right.
Found this story and I just shared it on the chat. But
Oh,
the
good.
sign says, attention,
Oh,
an autistic man does not know what a cop is or what a gun is. He makes loud noises. He makes loud noises. He will not hurt you. He does not understand words or commands. Oh, yes, he is black too. Can you imagine that fear of like her even yard? I share this story quite frequently because I can't imagine.
Well, and we had a few years ago at our church, not something I'm particularly proud of, but somebody, a young African-American man was in our church and I wasn't there, but my daughter was there and somebody called the police. Now, I don't know if anything happened. We have people of color at church. So I don't know what happened. I think in hindsight, this is like 5 years ago. I wonder if he had some special needs, something, and they called the police. And my daughter came home really upset about it. And she was pretty little. She's 13, maybe 8. And she said, how do we know that's not going to happen to Amos? You know, when he's
terrifying.
older for her. And this was somebody of color, but then just this kind of, you know, I think we're all learning, right? And the three of us are white, blonde women. Like, so we're this prototypical people, but it's like when you call the police, something is going to happen, you know, and when you have people that with disabilities, like the police being called or just immediately an escalation situation. And not that that's what happened here, but I just think people don't know that, you know. I think they think, well, I'll call the police.
Right.
I'm scared.
Something we did that I highly encourage parents to do is we registered Jack with the police department as a person with a disability, because as teenagers, they get deregulated. They get, you know, he doesn't drive, but there were times he threatened to jump out of the car on me, and I would have had to call the local police at that point. And then at least everybody kind of would know what they were dealing with. I highly recommend that. I mean, the more you can educate about who you are raising, better everyone can be successful.
Right.
So when the George Floyd murder happened, it was on our news 24 hours a day. Like there was like no other TV. It was just like live coverage of like the riots and stuff. So, and I'm a news junkie. So I watch a lot of news. My husband was in the Boundary Waters and Sawyer. So that would have been 2 years ago. So he was, you know, I mean, seven. And he was seeing it adjacent. Right. And he asked me this question, what you said, Adrian, about your daughter. Could this happen to Amos? So Sawyer said to me, and it was like one of the most insightful things he ever said. He's like, Mom, that guy asked for help and no one helped him. Cooper couldn't even ask. And it gives me goosebumps because what an insightful thing. Like, I think it was the first time Sawyer like realized like you could have a voice and still not be heard. You know, yes. But it kind of, I wrote about it and I got a lot of flack about it because they said I shouldn't have let Sawyer know what was going on. But we talked about that topic. I don't know how we couldn't have. We talked about it.
Right.
And it was like the height of the pandemic. I feel like we were just so afraid and on edge anyway.
Oh my gosh. It was.
I mean, I remember thinking, what else can go wrong, you know, in this country? Like where else can go wrong? And everything, we all watched the news. We were stuck home. And so it brought a lot and my brother's a police officer. So I see that angle too. And if you ever brother, he's 6'5". He is the gentlest human being. And I go to him for counsel in times like this because he has more of the backstory sometimes. And, you know, his narrative is always like, it's like any profession. There are people who aren't good at what they do everywhere. When it comes to police, the stakes are higher, unfortunately.
And public.
Very.
But one thing that really hit me today when I was kind of researching and reading what people had read was when I thought about myself in this case of this young man in Memphis as a white blonde woman. We are never going to be drug out of a car and not have someone say, can I see your license and registration?
Never.
Never. It's never going to happen to us. It wouldn't even occur to me in a million years. So if it did happen and someone's tasing you as you're doing what they say, you're going to get the frick out of there and run like hell. Because I was saying, well, why would you run? Well, you watch it. And then I'm like, why am I asking that? Of course you run.
Did you?
And he was
see,
100 feet from his mom's house.
Yes,
like he was so. Can you imagine? And like I've been watching a lot of this coverage. Like that mom can't even talk. She can hardly. She's so, you can just tell. She just like can't even find the words to like communicate.
But even the thing with the police officers being African American, what I read that I thought was so great was it was like, we've kind of had this narrative that it's white police officers are the trouble.
Yes.
It's Black victims that are in trouble.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, that is poignant to a point of Black victims they're in trouble. They are, if that had been you or I, they wouldn't have drug us out of that car.
Yep.
I have a son who works at the subway in town, and he and his buddy works there. It's like a total clown show. And they locked up, and then they decided they forgot something, cookies that the kid's girlfriend had given them. So they went back in. So the local police saw this, and they're hooded, it was a cold night. And they went to see like what's going on. And by the end of it, my son's very charming. They wound up taking pictures with them for their Be Real app, right? The cops turned into like this big thing. And I said, you are lucky for who you are. You have no idea how differently that would have looked for somebody else.
This story will make you laugh, but it's this exact same scenario. So the other night, Jamie and I went on a date, went and had dinner, and I had to get an orange shirt for Sawyer to wear to school for dress up day. So we had to run into the Walmart here, and our Walmart's kind of dicey in Woodbury. That sounds funny. It's a very nice area, but the Walmart's kind of dicey. So Jamie dropped me off the door. I ran in and I come out and he picks me up and he's like, you are not going to believe what just happened. And I was like, what? He's like, well, I went and parked and 2 squads rolled up on me with their lights on. And he's like, I was sitting there listening to my sports talk radio. And he's like, are these people coming for me? And he said they had guns drawn and he had to lower his window. And they're like, are you, what are you out here? And he's like, my wife's buying an orange shirt for Catholic school. The truck matched the description of a vehicle that had just been in like a robbery. And he said the whole thing was like 30 seconds long, but that's a perfect example. Like that could have been a very different scenario. Yep.
And it just comes back to like, the root of autism and communication a lot of times for us is the skills we work the hardest for are the ones we lose first under stress. So you imagine being pulled over. We have the luxury of trusting the authorities and the police. Because like you said, Adrian, I never think somebody's going to drag me around. Imagine being pulled over and not being able to trust that person.
Right.
And then if you have a vulnerability like a fight or flight tendency, or you don't communicate well under stress, all that goes right out the door. So the whole scenario just disintegrates.
But are you guys okay? So I have such a thing with authority that like, to a fault where I like listen to authority, right? I'm saying that to a fault because there's times when doctors have told us wrong information and I'm like, okay. Yeah. But like if I get pulled over doing nothing wrong, I'm like, oh my gosh, are there drugs in here? Do I have hidden alcohol? Am I drunk? I'm like terrified. I would do anything they would tell me to do because I'm so scared.
Yeah, not me. I would argue, but again,
of course you would.
But I couldn't argue if I weren't white. That argument was like, what I just thought, well, why wouldn't you argue?
Yeah.
I remember my college professor who was African American was telling us, and it was like the first time it ever occurred to me when he talked about how when he taught his son to drive, how half of the discussion was about what to do when you get pulled over by the police.
Yes, I've heard things like this. Yeah.
And I was 19 and had never it just had never entered my sphere of, thought, and how I just was so like, wow, I had no idea that he would have to do that. Keep both hands where people can see them. Never put your hand in your pocket. I mean, very explicit instructions,
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Nikita? I know you met her, Carrie, right?
Oh, no, I didn't meet her, but did I?
I think we did a live with her. She is
Oh,
a
yeah.
woman of color. She's amazing. Like, she shares about her daughter, who's a lot like Cooper, nonverbal, older. But she tells stories about, like, I have to be really careful if we're at, like, I'm making this at Walmart or whatever, because she's like, if something happens, it's another layer of fear that you have on top that we can never imagine. Because I think, like, her logic was, they won't always believe me. And I feel like if I think if something was to happen, they would believe me.
Yeah.
Wonder if we could get her to come on. That'd be a good guest visitor.
Yeah, she's really great.
That's probably because it would be more obviously relatable for somebody that's actually experiencing that, to just teach us. Okay. Yeah, I would like that.
Well, I have to run because I have somebody going to a dance that I have to photograph.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. You guys carry on. I'll tune in and see what you say after.
Oh, we'll get off. I'll let Kate. We all got people.
We'll talk about you a little bit, and then we'll
talk.
Where are we on Wednesday?
Wednesday? We're on Kate's page with a guest.
Okay. Kate's page, great.
Yep. And I have a guest. I'm very excited, and I haven't met her in real life yet, or in online life either. Her daughter has, I think, some sort of genetic syndrome, but she'll tell us all about it. And she's just sassy. Like, she does these reels where, like, she's like, people see my daughter and they're either like, oh, so cute, or oh, that's sad, or I like her honesty.
I'm gonna go follow her, but that sounds great. Let us know the time, Kate.
Yep.
I'm gonna get myself a guest. You all are coming up with these guests. I'm gonna get one.
We're your guests. What else
are your guests?
Okay, y'all have a good Saturday night. Thank y'all for tuning in. Go find Carrie, Cariello, and Kate, Finding Cooper's Voice.
Yay! Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye. See y'all. Oh, I just love them. I tell you, it is so nice. I was telling somebody the other day, when you live in a small town like I do, or like a lot of people do, I think I am going to try to get one out. I'm not going to tell them though. You live in a small town. I don't have a ton of friends that I can talk to that like really understand. So it's so nice to have this big group of people. And we all three have subscriber groups, and we all three do very different things. So mine is probably a little more general. I mean, you definitely get to see Amos and meet Amos, and I talk about autism, but mine's also like crime and, me gaining 7 pounds, or what's happening in Memphis, like a hodgepodge. Kate's is very autism related, family autism, nonverbal autism. She's an amazing writer. Anyway, she's written a book, which is in my office. And then Carrie and Kate has 4 kids. Her oldest has autism, Cooper. And then Carrie has, her second oldest is 18 with, look at this good book. And she has a subscriber group, and her page is kind of cool because she does a lot of guests coming on. So every week she has like 2 people on. In fact, somebody subscribed to my page from her page, and then they like sent me a nice message. They're like, I'm going to unsubscribe because I really like, I thought I was going to get like more information, and they didn't say, but basically you're just like shooting the SHIT. Do you not have conferences for parents of autism? You could, but I guess I don't. It's really nice to have friends you can just talk to, Yes, Carrie has a book too called What Color is Monday? What is the next book we're reading? I have to look at my subscribers. We have a book club. We do have a book club. Tomorrow night on my page, we are going to be talking to Seton Tucker about the Murdoch trial happening in South Carolina. And now I'm getting off the phone because my husband is steaming oysters. Are they steamed?
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, good. Do I need to make cocktail sauce?
No, I've already done that.
Oh.
Yeah, we can get crackers.
But do you have butter?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. On that note, I'm leaving. Thank y'all.